Welcome to Trading Lounge. I won't start with the Nasdaq today. I'll start with, I want to go to the yields, the bonds and the banks, and then the tech stocks quickly. So we're really sort of focused on the November run. So this moved down from late October down through here mostly in November for the yields once they hit major trading level 5 here. So this still needs to come down further, and also the bonds here, the TLTs here, they also need to push up here as well. Now this is very much the same as the stocks and the indices. You know, some of them started late October, early November here, but this particular move here is not quite finished just yet. And on the treasuries here, we have 5 waves down to this point. So from the top here, a bit hard to see, I know that, but 5 waves down here. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for this here, then wave 5 here, and then an ABC pattern here that can pull back down 40, 50, 60%, whatever. We'll get to that when we get to that. But this particular trend here is not finished. And, you know, the banks are also on this particular trend. The indices are on this trend. This is sort of where it's at. Now, of course, there are leaders and followers in the pack. So some of them, some of them are leading, some of them following. And when they get around large numbers, they can get a little bit messy as well. So if we start with the banks, well, American Express is a very profitable financial company, so let's just start with that. I look for I like to look broadly across the A sector to try and find a nice count with this. So this here would also be in we talked about this a few days ago, I can't remember when exactly, but we'll also be looking for a 4th wave coming into play here for this market, and Capital One here, the same thing as well. Here, still in its wave 4 here in this case, but you can see that in this case anyway, that we've got a nice 1 here, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very nice, strong, powerful wave 3 here. Wave 4 can pull back 38.2%, yada yada yada, roughly. So still room for it to play out here. So this is basically where we are, in the markets. And like I say, some stocks, like Meta and Nvidia could move, can push higher, some of those particular stocks, but generally this is the count, and we can see this with Morgan's as well. Now, the Morgan's is had a very profitable sort of quarter, but and the earnings per share is lower than, I can't remember exactly what it was, 335 to 304 or something of that nature. But it's not that simple with the banks. There's a lot of history there that also needs cleaning up from Silicon Bank and so on and so on. So but yeah, so I don't know the ins and outs of all the financial fundamentals numbers, but yeah, anyway, we're in this wave 4 here. Okay, so for this, so we're not finished with this to the upside yet. So with all of these banks, we need this type of situation to occur here. So we'll just keep an eye on these. Goldilocks is the same here, with 1, 2, 3, 4 coming in here somewhere. I'm not even going to get involved in that. Once it matures here, we'll have a bit of a look at it, but it should sort of line up with the bonds as within reason anyway, and 5 and so on. So we'll try to capture this coming up through here, but this is still early days here. And yeah, I mean, the indices, the Nasdaq and the S&P are in this situation as well here. So some of these markets, some of the stronger ones, could just make another little high here. Why most of them will drop here. BAC's much the same as well. It looks like it dropped and recovered here, but yeah, no real change in all of this as such. So yeah, I mean, it could drift sideways across here. I would imagine it would anyway. So yeah, but this will just be probably the first leg, a little ABC pattern coming in here, and the same with the cities as well here. I don't know how big and ugly this wave 4 can actually get here, but it's just not there yet, you know. So we'll see after the earnings settle down and they, you know, see what the narrative is at that point. But in terms of the wave count here, this is, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the correction at that point. So that's where that is. Okay, so also sort of generally in the market as well for the tech stocks. This is not true for all of them. This is Adobe here, and it just presents a nice count, that's all. So it's kind of, you know, how can we use this? What does it sort of mean? You know, basically we've got 1 and 2 here, and then all the way up for wave 3 here and wave 4. I haven't really focused on any of this. I don't know if that's completed or it's going to get a bit messier and all those sort of things. But this is just to give you, you know, the shell of the idea. So, you know, this needs to top here. Meta and Nvidia are kind of leading the way up with Microsoft. So they're not at their tops yet either. So, but, you know, we can just say, generally speaking, that we're really, you know, kind of in the last final stages of this trend that started, you know, way back from the end of the world bear market, as they were talking about it, sort of thing. So yeah, that's sort of where we are at the moment, just generally speaking. But yeah, look, some stocks haven't got to wave 3. I could put the Nasdaq on this top here in all of this as well. So yeah, anyway, I just think it's interesting. So some are coming up to this point, some are in front of this point. But this is probably a nice balanced sort of view of that. Now, when we come to Apple, Apple's a little bit of a trickier one, actually. It's a bit harder to pin down in the bigger picture. I think there's a good possibility that we can count this down here. I mean, I can get an A and a B and a C wave here and have wave 2 here, but I'm not really seeing the love here in an impulse wave to the upside. But even as a B wave here, it can retrace back up to the 50-60% mark. So it can lift up here further. So I'm just, you know, as I've always mentioned, since coming down here, I've just been a bit unsure about it. I can see that this is impulsive here. It doesn't really look like a, I can put wave B here, and I could have this down as 1 here and back for 2 at that point, and we could come down here for 3. The other point is that we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and come and move up here a little bit further. I'm just not interested in trading this this long, because because this could be counted as 5 waves, then it just puts it in a bit of a weak spot. Now, if it had a classic trading levels pattern on top of the 190, well, then I would, you know, look for my normal sort of setup here and would look to go along from here to here and as a short-term trade in there. But I'm not going to get sort of involved in this particular space here on 100 ticks. Just to drill in here a little bit, it's going to move that. So yeah, we could look at this as we could put this, you know, we can put wave B here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for this, and then look at this as ones. And I mean, it's a pretty nice impulsive wave down here, do you know? So we could look at it as 1 and 2 here, and then, you know, continuing to mosey on down over here for this. I can also see too that this here can turn into, you know, I could look at the, yeah, anyway, I could also put the B wave over here. So I'm just, it's all a little bit iffy for me. So it's not, I haven't got a strong enough, I haven't got enough confidence in any of the counts to trade long at this point for this, and yeah, just not interested at this point in this. It's just not there for me. And this is Amazon here. I'm also having a little bit of trouble with this one here as well. As far as the crow flies, I can see that, you know, from the low down here, we can also, this should actually really be wave 2. I know that's probably a bit hard to take on board, but so you know, we're from this low, we're getting basically 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4, and then going up for 5 here. So we'll have that 1 and 2 over here. This would be the bigger, this is kind of like the bigger picture for the banks too, by the way. But the banks don't have a very nice sort of beginning in all of this. Mortgages are okay, but the other ones are a bit dodgy. But they're in the same vein as this here. So this is also having difficulty with this here. I know that the market's not going to go very far from the 150. So there's no, even if it edges higher, I'm not going to be lured into trading long on this here. As always, I always look for, you know, the first high above the level here. So I don't normally chase this up here. I mean, if it's a big enough picture, we can, you know, move into it. But this first high above the level, we just wait for that to play out, and really that's what's occurring at the moment here. The other possibility here, and I'll be aware of it, is that we could also put wave 1 in here and then look at this as a wave 2 to pull back. If that's the case, then that's going to leave us with a little ABC pattern here, and we can go long above that B wave top there to capture a third wave. We can do that. That's not an issue. But I just want to point out I'm having a little bit of difficulty the best way to nail this down here. Rightio, so let's just cruise in here. This is another way to view it as well. But the trouble with this particular way, having wave 3, 4 here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, that's sort of okay-ish. It's just going to finish off a little bit too quick as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It's going to finish off here with this 1 and 5 and 1 here too early for me, you know. It's just a bit early for that. So I think something weird's going to sort of have to happen here. It's going to have to be something like, you know, something like this to play out, you know. Something else is going on. Something else could easily go on here with this. Let's just go into the intraday here, and yeah, this is the way we're looking at it. This low on the aftermarket closed lower down here for this, but I'm thinking we need to get up here for this and then have some sort of ABC pattern here for this. So I don't know if I can call that wave 1 up here and 2 here, or I need to put wave 4 over here. But I also say is that I think it needs to go higher, but I'm not interested in it until we get that B wave into play here. So this B wave here is the one that we want. So we just got to wait for, you know, I mean, you can obviously see that the power in the trend is here, and now it's stalling at the old highs here, and, you know, it'll push up and fold back. So there's just no point in going into it, you know. We'll just wait. We'll wait for this over here. I can count this up in 2 different ways as well, which is not helpful, but I like to keep an open mind and explore things as much as possible within reason. But at the same time, yeah, this trend here hasn't been corrected, and it's showing its first stages of weakness here. So pushing up here will probably push up on low volume. We could probably look at here as 1 and 2 in here and 3, 4, 5. If that's not the case and it drops down here, then this will be 4, and then we'll go up here. So it doesn't really matter. We're not like Apple. We're not sort of interested in it. Yeah, so this is Meta Platforms, and so yeah, this is the main run up through here. So we've got wave 1 over here and wave 2. Probably need to lift that up to a past cycle degree, but anyway, that doesn't matter too much at this point. We're looking at this. This is a weekly chart. We're looking for 5 waves up here. You can also, you know, I've got this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You could also put this here and also count 5 in here. So there's different ways to view that. So if you got it in different ways, it doesn't really matter. It still ends up the same sort of thing. But our main focus is this little 5 waves up here. Now this is traveling up here in the same pattern as Nvidia, so that makes it nice and easy and helps us with our timing, because if these are the leading stocks going to the upside, right, they're going to be the first ones to top and turn, so to speak, you know. So you can kind of see in a nutshell, we've got 3 and 4 here, and we're counting this up here. So yeah, I mean, once this gets to 420, 430, then we'll be looking at a serious top there, and this will be a serious top for the rest of the world. Will sort of follow this situation, so that will be, you know, even the banks will be in that space as well. So most, yeah, I mean, obviously there's different sectors doing different things, of course, but yeah, so Nvidia is doing the same, and these guys are kind of leading that, you know, that AI game to the upside. Let's just cruise in here. From one day we'll just go to 20, and then we'll go to 1000, so a bit of a jump, but so now you can start to see sort of filling in the dots a little bit here. So from 4 to 5 here, we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 here for this. We could count this a little bit differently in here as well. It's not going to make a lot of difference, but we should still be cruising up here. I just want to see the length of this here. I mean, if this wave 3 here reaches the 400 here, then it'll probably have some sort of equality to wave 1, which will be good enough at that point. It's just otherwise I'll need to shrink this back down into here somewhere and do something like this here, and bring this in here, and this into here, and this into here. So then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you know what I mean? But I think one of the things is that if you understand this situation, you know, for the markets in general, that, you know, we've spent all this time coming up here and we're very close to a top here. So then you can kind of like plan your year ahead a little bit, can't you? You know, you can kind of say, well, okay, you know, I'll do some very small trades in here to, you know, to keep me occupied, a little bit of entertainment and things like that. I'll practice my shorting in this wave 2 here, but I'm only going to use, you know, I'm not going to use full size positions. I'll just use, you know, 25% positions or something of that nature, and and do a bit of learning and sharpen your skills up in that. Once this is done though, this next wave 3 up here, this is the one that you need to think about. What markets are you going to go into? And the thing is about which markets to go into, it's just generally speaking, it's normally the leading stocks that will range the most. The following stocks are safer to trade, but they just don't range as much. So, yeah. And then again, you know, do you want income or do you want growth and those sorts of things? But this wave 2 going up into wave 3 here will be pretty exciting, and hopefully a lot of the wars and all those sorts of things of, you know, the dust gets settled on those, and humans can get back to enjoying themselves again. So yeah, so this could be counted a little bit differently in here. So let's just go in and have a look at that here. So yeah, I think this one here, that was the length of, basically the length of this wave 1 here. So it's got to get us up here further. So somehow I've got little wave 1 in here, and I've got wave 1 here and 2 here. This one here can push up, and it's going to be, I mean, I can go this way with it, and just, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. So this needs to push up here further. So then it could do this wave 4 business here and then push up here. So it could go like that. This leg here will be smaller than wave 1 here. That's okay, as long as wave 5 here of 3 is a bit shorter still as well here. This wave 5 here is shorter than this one. So all I can say for sure is that we're going to be edging higher. But there's different ways to count it. I mean, obviously there's a right way. I just haven't got that yet. So yeah, this could be counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 here, 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be counted that way. I could go 1 and 2 here for this, and 1 and 2 here for that. So there's different ways. It doesn't really matter. We'll just sort of focus on this little one here. So from 1,000 ticks to 100 ticks. In this case, I've got it as 1 and 2 there, and then 1 and 2 here, and then counting this up here. This is counted a little bit differently because I'm counting this as 1 and 2 in here and 1 and 2 here. And then I won't go into all of these, but these are all impulse waves. So in this case, yeah, it should stay within group 2 here. So I think we talked about in trading long about all this. I think we had the stop here somewhere, didn't we? About here somewhere, just to keep that out. But I would leave that there because we've got these wave 4s to handle just yet. I could count this as 1, 2 here and 3, 4, 5 and put that top there. But I could also see that it could, you know, move up higher here as well for that. So if you're long in this, really the stop under this point here will be key. The worst thing that could happen is it could spike below the level here in some wave 4 fashion, you know. But once they're in group 2, 65, 72 and 80, they're kind of good to go. It's already retested it here. Do you know what I mean? So it's done what it needs to do, and in all of this. And then the other thing is, like, markets just love large numbers, or humans do. So that will be, you know, it'll be pulled up into that space there. So yeah. Anyway, I think it's a great stock to be long into to 400. This is Nvidia here on a weekly chart, just another bigger picture as well. But once again as well, you know, this is leading really well. It's taken out this previous high here. Not all markets have done that, you know. I mean, some of the tech stocks from 2000 haven't even taken out their 2000 high, you know. So things if you don't change with the landscape, or you don't change the landscape yourself, you're, as a company, you're doomed. So yeah, look here, you can see that we've got a nice wave 3 here. We've got this wave 4 here, and we're pushing up here. This pattern here is the same as Meta platform. So these two are kind of setting that pace for and structure and timing and all of those sorts of things, you know. So in this case here from wave 4, we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 3rd and 4th and 5th, and then we're at the top here. How far will this wave 2 come back? I mean, it can pull back 60 odd %, whatever, but they can just come back to the wave 4 with one lesser degree. So I mean, it's always hard to say, so it's just better to count the wave structure, you know. But we'll just leave it like this. It will be quite damaging, some more than others, I guess, you know. But you can see here where we are. This one here is nice and clean, isn't it? We've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and we've got 3 here, and then we've got 4 here, and then we've got 5 here for the 3rd, and then we got the 4th, and then we got the 5th. So, you know, how long will all this take? Well, it just depends on wave 4, really. That's what it sort of boils down to. These wave 4s here, how time consuming they are, you know. This strong bar here, right in the middle of that, that's the halfway mark of the whole trend itself, from wave 4 to wave 5 here. So from here to here can give you a bit of an idea of, you know, that few months here, two months here, so at least 2 months up here. Probably add a little bit extra on, because wave 4s can be sideways and complicated. So we could end up being 3 months into here, January, February, March the 21st. All the GAN people will be looking at that, the equinox for sure. Which is, you know, I mean, all of that sort of stuff is tied into, your counting's tied into when the crops originally, you know, need financing and harvesting, and so that's what it all ties into. But anyway, so yeah, I think this is a really good picture to sort of understand, really. Yeah, this is the image here of a nice clean top at this point. I mean, the only mistake I could see in here is that I could look at this as wave 1 and back for wave 2 here, 1 and 2, but I don't think that's the case. I think we'll just continue to sort of move up in this space, you know. Rightio, so we should just go in a bit closer and have a look at all of this. I'll just, I don't know if I've updated 20, I'll just have a look just in case. Oh yeah, I have, but still just the same picture, so that's okay. Down into 1000, and here we go. So we've got, gets a bit messy here, we've got this wave 4 here, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 here, and we've been counting up through here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could be counted a bit differently here, which I've got on the next chart, I think. So yeah, so this is where we're at here. I suppose we do need to look at this as, it looks pretty impulsive there. I'll have a look at it on the next chart. Oh, the next chart's actually the 100 tick is got a slightly different count. Actually, the stock charts didn't load up on Friday, or the Forex chart. Something's wrong with them on the new site. So as the world opens today, I'll have folks check on that. Yeah, so this is it. This is it here. I mean, the only thing, I mean, that's in 3. I think this is pretty good here, really. The only mistake I could make is this could drop down to wave 4 here. So if you've got a long position in here, the stop should be under number 2 here, the 20. So not on 20, but either 16 or 12 here for that. That will keep you safe. And this is a slightly different count coming into the this one here. It's just taking, it's a little bit weird, but it's just looking at this here as wave 1 and 2, then 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 for 1 here. So I'll just keep an eye on this count. The difference is that this one just pushes up a little bit higher. It's the, you know, the so it's just we're going to go a little bit higher on this one. Kind of like this is a wave 4, but being the end of the session too, you've got to be a little bit mindful. But yeah, something like this here. This is slightly different, but a little bit a bit higher up on this one. Alrighty. So Netflix. So I've just re-looked at this again. So from this wave 4 here is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 the third wave. It's a bit of a long shot, but it's just, I know that we had, you know, we had a long trade in here. We took some profit here and we got the stop under here. So you can keep that there. I'll be mindful of that. But we do have a profit, and then we are at break even on the rest of it. So it looks impulsive up there, but it also looks impulsive down here. So it is possible for this to come down here first and then move off. So you might want to put your stop just under this one here for that. It could certainly go up from here. It looks like we've got 5 little waves up here, but just it can bounce off this here. So yeah. So yeah, it should just continue to push up further, this one as well. I'm not that interested in trading around large numbers like this, just not the go. Okay, so we're over at Alphabet now, and this is the, you know, this is the same pattern really as we just looked at with Nvidia and the other ones. So this is Nvidia here, right? So we've got, this is a daily chart, this is 20,000 ticks. So, but this 1 and 2 here is this 1 and 2 here, right? So then this 1 and 2, we need to look at one of these here. Now I'm not sure if I need to put it on this one here, like put it to here or put it to here. So I'm a bit unsure about this situation here. So this can also be counted in different ways here. But that said, we should be ending up above the 150 here to finish this off. And once again, we've got that nice 1, 2 here, and 3, 4, and going up into 5 here. So yeah, just not quite sure. I can actually count 5 waves out of this one here, so I'm kind of tempted to do this, but then if I put this here, then this wave 4 here overlaps this, and for a third wave for that to occur, yeah, I don't know. Do you know? I try to get the timing, the lows and the highs, the same with Nvidia and Meta, but this one's a little bit different. So I'm not quite sure about this here just yet, to be honest about it. I know it needs to go higher, and I know that it will struggle across the old high here. It got hammered here. As expected, got sold off here, and then it come over here and it pushed up a bit high, took a bit more supply out, pushed back. Now it's pushed up through it. So it's just logical for it to come back and check the old high before moving up again. So just make sure you understand that. But it should move up higher. I'll just cut through. I'll just have a look at 20, see what I've done here. Okay, 20, I've done it this way. But I wouldn't put any faith into that, actually. Let's go to 1000. This is a slightly different way as well. Here, this is actually looking at it as 1, 2, and then 1, 2. And I've got 5 waves here, so 3, 4, 5. I can do that, and 4. And then I kind of like this. It's kind of interesting as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. So I don't know the pathway to the upside, but I think at worst, all you need to do is expect some type of pushback here to settle in on the new highs on that 140 there, so 138. If you're talking 8, you're talking group 2 there. So if you're talking group 2, the lower end of group is 136.50. So you really need to keep your stop under that 136.50, and don't put it on 50. It's got to be below the 50. So I'm not quite sure about the count, but I just know that we need to push higher, that's all. And Microsoft, so that's chopping along quite nicely. So we've got wave 1 and 2 here, all the way up to 3 and 4 in this case, and then moving up here higher. There is the case of lining this up with Adobe, and I could do the same with the Nasdaq and put wave 3 up here, and then look at this, bring this wave 4 down to here. That's also doable as well. So I'm just sort of mulling things over a bit. But the main point is here is that we're not going to go very far, from the 400 here. We can go to 430 roughly, but we should be expecting something like this here, some first high above the level with all of this. There's different ways to count this here as well, just to point out that it was never that clear. We can put wave 1 at the top here, or we could put wave 1 here. For putting wave 1 here, I could put wave 2 here. It looks like it goes up in 3 waves here, but it doesn't come down in 5 waves, so I can't put it over here. So it has to go sort of here with this. So I mean, that's if I was looking at this expanded flat and an A and a B and a C here. So, but what this means here, it just means that if I put wave 1 here, for example, then what it means over here is it puts wave 3 over here. And then we would have a 4 and a 5 here. So, yeah, it can play out a little bit differently. But like I said, it's not going to go far from this here, and I could also put this wave 3 there as well. But so there's a few things that I'm I think it's healthy to if I've got other counts, then they're all in the same direction in this case. But I think it's important to talk about them before we get to the top, because what our job really is to find this 5th wave here, 5 of 1. That's our job in the market, and we can continue to trade long to that point, and then we have to sort of round up all the other stocks, or most of them, into this count here as well. So that's what I'm doing. Now that said, let's just cruise in. So I haven't been here for a bit, but see, this is just not going to work for me really. This is going to finish this off too early. I can't have this one being here. I mean, I can have Microsoft being here first. That's not the problem, but I can still see Nvidia and Meta have got further to go. So we're going to have to push this up here in this instance, and we're just going to have to change this around. It can be all pushed over, but we don't need that at the moment. So it's probably something like this. But it's definitely going to react from here. And then it means we can count this up here in different ways as well. We can have a wave 4 here. We can have this as 1 and 2 here. We can have it here. We can also have it over here. This is the other issue with this as well. So we can have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, or we can have it over here, and that will take us higher at this point. This is this one we talked about last time we spoke about this on the 1000 tick here. 1, 2, could probably even get that up a little bit further up here, I think. Well, I've got to be a bit careful here because I know that some of the other markets are not going to move up here. I'll just check this here. I mean, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 here, but it's wonder if there's an extra 5th wave in here. Definitely this here. Let's just double check on that. We talked about being long there. That seems to be it because we've got this ABC pattern here. We should be taking out that top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to look at that as 1, I guess. There's not much in here. 1, 2, 3. So it's either 1 here or 3. Either way, we've got to be out of it at this point. So I've taken a pretty conservative view on this here. I could move it up higher. I mean, it will want to get to this number up here. Let's just put the stop under that low there. That's pretty close. We'll see how that goes, but we probably get stopped out. But I just want to keep it quite tight at this point. It didn't really sort of move up that fast. Okay, well that's that. And Tesla. So we're counting down as an A and a B and a 1 and 2. I have to extend this down here, so this has still got further to go down. Here, be something like this here. This is the 78.6% retracement level here. But yeah, we've just got to take a look at the bigger picture here for a moment on this. This is let's just drill out here. Let's go out to 1 day here. So this is what we're thinking of as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into here, but I don't like it at all. It's just not doing it for me. I mean, the other count for this we had on the 2-day, which is a triangle pattern, which I kind of like as well. But the trouble is the triangle pattern in wave 2 doesn't really do it for me either. So we know that this move down here is corrective, so we know one day that top will be taken out. The point being up here is that we could view it as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. We could do that as well. I think I've got that count somewhere. But we've had it as 1, 2, 3, 4 and going up for 5 here. The reason for that was to tie in with the rest of the markets around the world. But this count, if this is breached here, then we'll need to look at this either in two ways. We either look at it as an A, B, C, D and E as a triangle, or we drop this C wave down here further, and this becomes the A wave, and A, B, C for the B wave, and then down for 1 and back for 2, and down for 1 and back for 2, and moving on down here further. So we just need, this is log scale here as well, so we just need to see how this sort of plays out here. I mean, having it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 doesn't really pan out. That those sort of moves don't really work most of the time, but as 1, 2, 3, 4 and then going up for 5 here, that's probably the closest I could sort of hope for, really. But anyway, we'll just see how this goes. Like, so that 210 is the 78.6 retracement level from that top there, so we'll just continue there, but still further downside. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.